Greetings, storytellers. Hope you're doing well, and sorry it's been so long since I've sent out a video. I had some interesting insights recently as I was writing the sequel to The Gifted Storyteller, where, well, let me rewind. So, recently I wasn't feeling well, and you know how when you're not feeling well, you just feel like blah, and you don't feel your normal self. You don't feel, things don't seem as they usually do to you, obviously. So basically what happened was, it was a beautiful sunny day, and I was driving to the doctor's to get checked up, and it was one of those moments where I was kind of looking at people jogging by and people walking on a promenade and just smiling and enjoying what was a beautifully sunny day. And after we had had so much rainfall, I was waiting for a day like this because those are cherished days where they're just sunny, beautiful, not too hot. One of those quote-unquote perfect days. And as I'm driving and I'm watching everybody, I'm like, wow, I don't feel right. I don't feel well. And therefore I wasn't experiencing the day the way I normally would. I wasn't as chipper or as bright or as sunshiny, if you will. And I had a moment of insight, actually. And, that's what it's all about. In other words, take a situation and find the opportunity, right? Tell a better story. And what I came to realize was, and use the analogy from when you might not be feeling well, or when you haven't been feeling well, that it kind of dulls your senses. In other words, your nose can be clogged and therefore you're not smelling or not tasting right, or maybe your eyes are very watery from allergies and therefore you're not seeing the way you normally do, and you just overall are not feeling the same as you do. It takes your normal level of sensing this world and kind of brings it down a little, right? It brings it down to a point where, depending on the range, you're just not yourself. And it was at that moment that I realized, you know what? We oftentimes operate on the assumption that the rest of the world is experiencing the world the same as we are. And the truth is, they're not. And you're not, and your friends are not, and etc. Your level of sensing the world, which are your five senses, are different. It varies from person to person. Some people have an amazing sense of sight, some people have an amazing sense of taste, some people have an amazing sense of smell. Of course, the opposite exists too, where some people's senses are kind of dulled. In other words, they don't smell things as strongly as other people do. And it led me to realize and understand that as I'm walking through my day, or speaking to people, or wondering why somebody's doing something or acting a certain way, it's because I'm going off the assumption that they're operating and sensing the world the same as me. And that was a huge moment of insight when I realized, you know what? This example of not feeling well, or this example of being sick, if you will, which takes away your ability to sense, is kind of the way you should be perceiving the world, and understanding that not everybody is seeing the world the way you are. Not everybody is smelling, tasting, touching, and operating in the way that you do. So you could be walking down the street and see somebody and you're assuming they are sensing the world as you are, and truthfully, they're not. And somehow, maybe that little bit of understanding that we're all operating in a different way and that we're all sensing the world in a different way is a great moment of insight for all of us to hold on to in understanding and tolerating other people's choices and differences, or quirkiness, if you will, or even our own, when maybe we're too hard on ourselves because we don't understand why we're acting a certain way or feeling a certain way, and somebody else that we're looking at may not be. It's an opportunity to forgive a little, and be more understanding, and be more compassionate of those around you. So I want to leave you with that, storytellers. Keep that in mind. Not everybody senses the world the way you do. They sense it differently. As a matter of fact, I would bank on the fact that everybody senses the world slightly differently. There's different variations of it. So the next time you're having one of those dulled out moments, or you're not feeling great about yourself, or you are wondering why somebody's making a certain choice or a certain decision, remember, they're operating in a different world than you are. We're in the same physical space, but we're all sensing the world a little differently. And that's something just to keep in mind. As you go about your day, be a little more forgiving, be a little more kind, be a little more compassionate, and even be a little more courageous. Understanding that things are not always what they seem. Have a great day, storytellers. Looking forward to talking to you again soon.